Prescription drugs in America are already insanely expensive, but apparently not expensive enough for big pharma's liking. Shocker to no one. According to a new report from Reuters, drug makers are about to bump up the cost of hundreds of drugs even more. Drug makers, including Pfizer, Sanofi, and Takeda Pharmaceutical, plan to raise prices in the United States on more than 500 drugs in early January, according to data analyzed by healthcare firm 3 Axis Advisors. Excluding different doses and formulations, more than 140 brands of drugs will have their prices raised next month, the data showed. Pfizer, FYI, is the biggest offender, which plans to increase prices on 124 drugs. The expected price hike comes as the pharma industry gears up for the Biden administration to publish discounted prices for, get ready for it, a whopping 10 high-cost drugs in September. 10. Just 10. Under Biden's Inflation Reduction Act, that's still an amazing piece of news. Under Biden's Inflation Reduction Act, Medicare can negotiate prices directly for some drugs starting in 2026. A big win. They can negotiate for a little bit of some piece of it. It's not all bad news, though. 3 companies, including GlaxoSmithKline, which last week said it would cut prices on some asthma, herpes, and anti-epileptic drugs for 2027, are also expected to lower prices on at least 15 drugs in January, according to the data. Several companies had already announced price decreases for insulins earlier this year in an effort to be good guys? No. To avoid penalties, of course. Penalties that could have been imposed under the American Rescue Plan Act if they had kept prices high. Under the law, drug companies are required to rebate the Medicaid program if price increases on medicines outpace inflation. And beginning in January 2024, those rebates could even be larger than the actual net cost of the drug. Still, more drug price increases are likely to be announced over the course of January, which is historically the biggest month for drug makers to raise prices. All sounds fantastic, Cenk.
Yeah. All right. So they just announced they're increasing the price of drugs on 500 drugs. So I'm going to do some math on this. Now, Biden got them to reduce prices on 10 of them, kind of starting in September, kind of starting in 2026. But okay, let's give them the whole 10. So let's do some math on it. Let's put up a graphic here. What is 500 minus 10? Wait a minute. That's 490 drugs that are going to increase in prices. Overall, when you even consider the 10 that they're going to decrease the price on. Guys, look, I'm showing you that to show you how absurd it is. And that's just the latest round of drug price increases. Overall for 2023, 1,425 drugs have had their prices increased. So what bothers me is that the press then came out and said, oh my God, Biden did this historic, amazing deal where he's going to reduce the drug price on 10 drugs, as if like it's a thing, as if that's a big deal. It's not a big deal at all. It's a joke. It's meant as a smokescreen to cover up for the fact that no, they're not putting any checks on these drug companies. They're running wild. So they keep talking about one thing about insulin. Good, I'm glad, I'm happy. How about the thousands of other drugs? So it's just absurd. But the second thing is for the Republicans out there who go, oh, I knew it, Pfizer and these guys are bad guys. No, you have to separate out 2 things, and this is very important. So do these companies create drugs that wind up helping us overall? Some drugs have problems, no question about it, but have they solved a lot of things that help our health overall? Yes, they have. By the way, yes, that includes vaccines. But that doesn't mean that they're allowed to rob us. That doesn't mean that it's a fine that they've done government capture. But also, if you think that they've done government capture and they're bribing all the politicians so that they can have set these monopolistic prices, you are right. But that doesn't mean that Advil doesn't get rid of your headache. Okay, the drugs still work. That's not the problem. The problem is the amount that they charge us because they've captured our politicians through campaign donations, otherwise known as bribes. Mondo.
I mean, I just got to remind people that Pfizer is set to make $61 billion this year. I don't understand why they need to raise any prices. Anybody making $61 billion off of techniques, technology, and government assistance. And that's what happens with science. A lot of this is funded by taxpayer dollars. is absolutely disgusting to me. And I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, same exact thought there. It's so wild. You're making your investors very happy. You're making your executives very happy, even with 2 billion of profit, even with 10 billion of profit, 60 billion to harm people's health, to lose people's lives who can't afford it, to string people along like the worst drug dealer on the worst street corner anywhere in the world is just disgusting, unconscionable, and it's how business works in this country.
It's greed run amok. Our government has to start representing us and not their donors. That's the #1 underlying problem. Do Americans want to negotiate drug prices with the drug companies? Of course they do. 83% of Americans do. I don't know what the other 17% are thinking. Oh yeah, let them charge whatever they want. That's insane, right? But the overwhelming majority of Democrats and Republicans agree. Of course we should be able to negotiate drug prices. That's called the free market. But our government is so corrupt, so captured, and that's why we have this absurdity of they decrease prices on 10, increase prices on 1,425, and we all get robbed.
Not allowed to negotiate, not allowed to negotiate. The very basis, if you love capitalism so much, allow people to negotiate. That seems like it would be a pretty strong way to ensure that you're getting free market prices is through fair negotiation, not through fixing prices to benefit the victors who are already filthy rich. That's the way I see it. But also, maybe I've got something called morals that still make me not a great businessman.
Yeah, I mean, we weren't looking for morals in this country anyway. Like, think about it. Even our form of capitalism doesn't even look moral, let alone our politics when we have this thing called Citizen United. I mean, we believe that, businesses are people and they deserve a vote.
It's also why we have to get every penny of dark money out of our government. We have to publicly finance elections. We need an anti-corruption act so strong that it just finally enables us to elect people that didn't raise the most money and aren't constantly raising money while they're running for office and aren't beholden to the interests of these enormous corporations that only have the interest of profits in mind. Once you can do that, we have a chance at saving this country. But it just takes people willing to vote the bums out. And for some reason, the biggest bums keep getting reelected because of the very problem. So I wish people would just wake up and just give us a fresh slate of people that promise to not be beholden to that and to pass legislation that won't corrupt them during their limitless terms in office.
Okay, I just came up with an idea. Why don't we go with the Nancy Reagan approach? Politicians should just say no to drug money. So if they take drug money, you should vote them out, period. Well, I was kind of good on other things, I don't care. No, you take drug money, we're gonna vote you out. Just say no. How's that? Right back at you. If you enjoyed this video, that's because of our members. They make us independent, they make us strong, and they make us honest. Become a member today by hitting the join button below.